We are going far, far back into the biological archives today. We're talking about looking at the very first structural blueprints of life on Earth. We are uncovering the incredible origin story of our oldest living relatives in the animal kingdom, a group known as Agnatha. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. When you picture a vertebrate, an animal with a backbone, your mind probably jumps straight to the finished products, right? Galloping horses, soaring eagles, or well, ourselves. But if we roll the tape back to version 1.0 of the extended vertebrate family tree, long before all those complex evolutionary upgrades came along, the picture is completely different. So, let's officially meet the first vertebrates. Scientists classify these aquatic pioneers as Agnatha. That's a superclass of primitive vertebrates that most notably completely lack jaws and paired fins. And it is absolutely crucial to understand that we aren't just talking about extinct fossils here. No way. These are living, breathing biological blueprints. Their incredibly simple body structure serves as the foundational design for literally all vertebrate animals that followed. Everything from how we fundamentally move through space to how our own internal skeletons eventually formed traces its earliest iterations right back to them. Let's move to and see how this builds into their bizarre biological blueprint. The absolute most jarring physical feature is their namesake. They have no jaws, like at all. They completely lack an upper and lower jaw. Just think for a second about how vital a jaw is for capturing prey and manipulating your physical environment. Agnatha bypasses this completely. Instead of biting or chewing like we do, they rely on a simple, jawless mouth structure. And honestly, it's often equipped with these terrifying swirling rows of raspy teeth, or sometimes a sucker-like appendage just to latch onto food and thrive in their environments. It's wild. And the anatomical surprises definitely do not stop at the mouth. They actually possess a skeleton made entirely of cartilage, not bone. That's right, they completely lack the hard, calcified bone tissue that makes up our own human skeletons. Instead, their internal framework relies on a surprisingly flexible, cartilaginous structure. To put that into perspective, it's really similar to that pliable material you can feel right now in your own ears or the tip of your nose. It provides that necessary body structure while remaining incredibly bendable and lightweight. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how many other seemingly, unfinished features they still rock today. They are the ultimate biological minimalists. They have a backbone, sure, but it's not fully developed like the complex spinal columns we see in later animals. They just kind of maneuver through the water without those paired pectoral or pelvic fins that modern fish use to expertly steer. Plus, they breathe through just a single nostril on their incredibly long, distinctively eel-like bodies. And despite all that, they've managed to successfully adapt this minimalist survival strategy across both marine and freshwater habitats. Which brings us to the lampreys and hagfishes. So who exactly are these rugged survivors? Well, the two most famous living representatives of the Agnatha superclass are the lamprey, known scientifically as Petromyzon, and the hagfish, known as Myxine. Now, to the untrained eye, they might look a bit like ordinary eels, but structurally and biologically, they belong to this much older, simpler category of life. And man, they have some wild party tricks. Hagfish, for instance, can defensively produce literally buckets of suffocating slime in mere seconds. No joke. Meanwhile, lampreys use those rows of swirling teeth we just talked about to parasitically latch right onto other fish. They are true ancient marvels. And that serves as our evolutionary key. So the crucial point is that Agnathans represent the most primitive living vertebrates on Earth today. They are, essentially, living fossils swimming right alongside us. You see, while other evolutionary lineages went on to develop those complex jaws, hard bony skeletons, and intricately paired limbs, the lamprey and the hagfish, they found a wildly successful ecological niche, and that niche allowed them to survive across the eons with their original version 1.0 hardware completely intact. And this brilliantly illustrates why they are so intensely vital to modern science. Studying them literally helps scientists understand the evolution of all fishes and vertebrates. Because, hey, you and I are vertebrates ourselves. So by studying the incredibly simple anatomy of Agnatha, we are essentially looking back in time. We're looking at the foundational building block steps of our own human evolution, tracing the complex lineage of our own backbones right back to these jawless, cartilaginous pioneers. Which brings us to a rather profound thought to end our explainer on today. Think about it. If these jawless, cartilaginous survivors, with their incredibly simple, seemingly unfinished bodies, have managed to successfully survive and thrive in our oceans for hundreds of millions of years, well, what can their incredible ongoing story of survival tell us about our own evolutionary future? And what does it say about the deep, enduring biological connections that tie all vertebrate life together? It definitely makes you look at your own backbone a little differently, doesn't it? Thanks for exploring with us today.